Avoid drinking in plastic bottles. The hidden dangers of microplastic. Microplastics, tiny plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in size, have emerged as a significant concern regarding human health, particularly in relation to drinking from plastic bottles. Recent research highlights the prevalence of microplastics in bottled water and the potential health risks associated with their consumption. Imagine reaching for a cold drink, only to find out that each sip might be adding invisible toxins to your body. Every time you take a drink from a plastic bottle, you could be consuming tiny, nearly undetectable pieces of plastic. The real question is, could this simple, everyday habit be slowly poisoning you without you even knowing? Let's dive into the hidden dangers of microplastics and why your health might depend on breaking this habit. Plastic bottle composition and microplastic formation. At a glance, that plastic bottle in your hand might look like a convenient way to stay hydrated, but it's hiding more than just water. Plastic bottles are made from synthetic compounds like BPA, bisphenol A, and PET, polyethylene terephthalate. These materials are chosen for their durability and flexibility, but they come with a hidden cost. Over time, as these bottles are reused or exposed to heat, say, left in a hot car or used over multiple days, they begin to break down. With each tiny crack or scratch, microscopic particles of plastic, known as microplastics, start to shed from the bottle and mix directly into the water you're drinking. But these particles aren't just any plastic fragments. They carry traces of the very chemicals that made them strong and flexible in the first place. BPA, for example, has been linked to hormone disruption, while PET particles can cause inflammation in the body. And while each microplastic particle might be small, so tiny they're invisible to the naked eye, their cumulative effect could be anything but minor. Imagine drinking from a bottle daily, believing it's safe, while these microscopic particles silently make their way into your body. As these microplastics enter your bloodstream, they could accumulate over time. So, what does this mean for your health? Let's look closer at the journey of these particles and the potential impact they might have within. How microplastics enter the human body. Most people think of microplastics as an environmental issue, but the truth is they're much closer to home, right inside our bodies. When you drink from a plastic bottle, you're directly ingesting microplastic particles that have broken off into the water. But the exposure doesn't stop there. Studies have found that microplastics are now embedded in many of the foods we eat, from seafood to even fruits and vegetables, due to water and soil contamination. This means that, unknowingly, we're consuming microplastics daily through more sources than just bottled water. Each sip, each bite, carries with it an invisible dose of these synthetic particles. Microplastics have been found in the lungs, gut, and, in alarming studies, even human blood. Once these particles are in your system, they can move throughout the body, potentially infiltrating vital organs. And while our bodies are equipped to handle many substances, plastics are not one of them. These foreign particles might accumulate over time, their presence growing with every bottle we drink, every piece of plastic packaged food we consume. So, just how much plastic are we unknowingly ingesting? The numbers are startling, and the journey these particles take in our bodies could have consequences no one fully understands yet. Next, we'll dive into the potential health risks that microplastics might bring with them. Health risk of microplastics. Once inside the body, microplastics don't just pass through harmlessly. Studies have shown that these tiny plastic particles can cause inflammation, disrupting the body's natural processes. Some researchers believe that the chemicals in microplastics, like BPA and phthalates, mimic hormones, leading to a condition called endocrine disruption. In simple terms, these chemicals interfere with your body's hormones, impacting everything from metabolism to reproductive health. But that's just the beginning. Over time, as microplastics accumulate, their presence in organs like the liver and kidneys could put stress on these vital systems, potentially leading to long-term health complications. What's even more concerning is the link between microplastics and more serious health conditions. Preliminary studies have suggested possible links between microplastic exposure and chronic diseases, including cardiovascular problems and even cancer. While scientists are still exploring these connections, one thing is clear: the impact of these tiny particles may be anything but small. And it's not just adults at risk. Children, with their developing bodies and immune systems, may be even more vulnerable to the effects of microplastic exposure. Imagine the potential long-term health risks for future generations if we continue to consume microplastics at the current rate. So, how widespread is this issue, and are we all unknowingly affected? Let's look at the staggering scale of microplastic contamination. The scale of the problem. Microplastics aren't just a minor inconvenience. They're everywhere. Recent studies reveal that we are surrounded by plastic particles in ways we never imagined. Each year, billions of plastic bottles are produced, used, and discarded, contributing to an ever-growing presence of microplastics in our environment. Scientists have found these tiny particles in places we once thought were pristine: deep ocean waters, Arctic snow, and even the air we breathe. The alarming truth is that microplastics have become part of our ecosystems, circulating through our food chains and water supplies. Even more shocking, research has recently confirmed that microplastics have been detected in human bloodstreams, with particles traveling to vital organs where they could linger for years. The average person could be ingesting a credit card's worth of plastic each week through various sources. Imagine the cumulative impact of that over a lifetime. Every bottle, every plastic-wrapped product, and every sip from a plastic straw adds up, contributing to this hidden, growing crisis. So, with microplastics now embedded in our lives and our bodies, what can we do to protect ourselves? Let's look at practical alternatives and simple steps to minimize exposure. Why plastic bottles are a bigger risk? Plastic bottles aren't just another source of microplastics. They're one of the most significant contributors to our daily exposure. Unlike other plastic items, we often reuse plastic bottles or expose them to high temperatures, which accelerates the breakdown of materials like BPA and PET. Just leaving a plastic bottle in a hot car can trigger the release of hundreds of microplastic particles into the water. Even reusing bottles can cause tiny scratches and wear, further increasing microplastic release with every refill. Research shows that bottled water contains nearly double the amount of microplastics compared to tap water, partly because of how these bottles are processed and stored. The convenience of plastic might seem harmless, but it's costing us in ways we can't see. The more we rely on plastic bottles, the more we risk unknowingly consuming a high volume of microplastics, each sip adding to a potential lifetime accumulation in our bodies. So, if plastic bottles are putting us at higher risk, what safer alternatives can we use daily? Let's explore some practical options that reduce exposure and keep your drinking water pure. Alternatives and solutions. Reducing our exposure to microplastics doesn't mean giving up convenience. It means choosing safer alternatives that protect both our health and the environment. One of the easiest switches? Ditch plastic bottles for stainless steel or glass. These materials are durable, chemical-free, and don't shed microplastics into your water, even when exposed to heat or reused repeatedly. Plus, many stainless steel and glass bottles are designed to keep drinks cool for hours, so they're a smart and sustainable choice. Beyond water bottles, consider reducing overall plastic use in food storage. Replace plastic containers and wraps with glass or silicone alternatives, which won't leach particles into your meals. Even small changes, like using reusable cloth bags instead of plastic ones, add up over time to help reduce your microplastic intake. By making these simple swaps, you're not only protecting your health, but also making a positive impact on the planet. Every choice you make moves us one step closer to reducing the prevalence of microplastics. So, with all these alternatives available, why stick to plastic? Let's wrap up with a final thought on just how much these tiny choices can affect our future. Microplastics may be small, but their impact on our health and environment is anything. From bottled water to everyday food, these tiny particles have infiltrated nearly every corner of our lives. But awareness is the first step to change. By choosing safer alternatives like stainless steel or glass, we have the power to reduce our exposure and protect ourselves from the unknown risks these microplastics might bring. Did you know your daily habit of drinking from plastic bottles could be exposing you to the hidden dangers of microplastics? Protect your health and make informed choices today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it with your loved ones, and hit that subscribe button for more life-changing insights. Stay safe, stay informed.